Look at it. Good evening, folks. Ken Hovind here at Dinosaur Adventure Land in Lenox, Alabama. Patrick and his wife just got married, 2 weeks ago now?
Yes, sir. Yep.
I flew up there to do the wedding for them, and Patrick has kind of taken over Bill Sardi's knowledge of health. I couldn't believe all the stuff he knows about nutrition and health. And so we're going to do a quick program with Patrick. His phone number is on the screen if you want to call him or email him. If you have any questions about how to be healthy. God told children of Israel when they came to the Mara in Exodus 15, they couldn't find water because the waters were bitter. And so he said, throw in a tree. Anyway, and he promised in Exodus 15, if you'll obey my voice, you'll have none of these diseases. What a promise. He said in the very first chapter of the Bible, should be Genesis chapter 1, I've given you every herb, that's plants, bearing seed, and the fruit of a tree yielding seed, it shall be for meat. God told Adam and Eve, eat the fruit, the vegetables, and the seed. So, Patrick, there's a lot of foods that are high in vitamin C. What I'd like to do with you is promote your ministry. If people have health issues, they can call you and talk about vitamin C. We'll go to each of the different vitamins. You sent me some slides here. Tell me what you know about vitamin C.
Yes. So hello. My name is Patrick Yurish, integrative health practitioner. I live in northeastern Pennsylvania, and hopefully I could start to take over Bill Sardi's ministry here. He had a wealth of knowledge, wealth of information on his sites, and I'd like to kind of further that, his advice, his information, his knowledge. So tonight's seminar will be about vitamin C and hopefully tie in the Bible and maybe how vitamin C also proves the Bible, or at least the biblical flood. So we start off with the story of the Gulo gene. Now, there is, for most mammals, a gene within their bodies that allows them to internally produce vitamin C. Most mammals have it. 4 mammals do not have it. Humans, we cannot produce vitamin C. Guinea pigs, fruit bats, and some primates, where we have a genetic flaw, a point mutation on one of our genes. And this gene specifically is the Gulo gene. Now, the Gulo gene, for anyone who cares, gulonolactone oxidase gene, produces the last of 4 enzymes required, which is what genes do. They produce proteins, they produce enzymes. It produces the last of 4 enzymes required to convert blood sugar as it passes through our livers to vitamin C, ascorbate. Now,
hang on.
Yes.
Patrick, I've got your slides, but I got control of them here. Tell me which one you want to be on.
Oh, you could stay on the first one still.
First one. Right.
Yes, sir. Yep. So, nope. Next one.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
What does Gulo stand for?
Yes. So Gulo is gulonolactone oxidase. It's the gulonolactone oxidase gene within our bodies. We have thousands and thousands of genes within our bodies. They all have different functionalities. And the Gulo gene produces the enzyme gulonolactone oxidase. It's the last of 4 enzymes within our bodies required to convert blood sugar to vitamin C as it passes through the liver. Now, our Gulo gene has a mutation on it. It has a point mutation or a nonsense mutation. It goes by different names. However, the fact of the matter is this allows us from making the complete enzyme in our bodies, so we can no longer convert blood sugar as it passes through the liver to vitamin C. Now, every human on this planet, every person has this genetic flaw. We all have this gene mutation. No one escapes from it. So in order for every human to have this specific gene mutation, there had to be a giant bottleneck in human history. So where would this bottleneck have taken place? And this is, I believe, the flood of Noah, Noah's flood.
Right.
We had Noah and his family, the only survivors, and what we see, or what we would expect to see when it comes to a gene mutation to this degree, is a gradual drop-off of lifespan significantly. And we see from 900 years of age down to 100 years of age. And now we know in Psalm 90, Moses writes, the days of our years be 70, and if by reason of strength they be 80 years. So 70 or 80 years now, but we would once, I believe, produce vitamin C. And if we had still produced vitamin C, we would see, and I'm going to explain these further, oxidative stress greatly mitigated, heart disease rates would be abysmal, cancer would be, at least we could help cancer patients. That front edge, I'll explain later, will be taken off, and more would be avoided. And we can go to the next slide here.
Okay.
All right, so just to explain a study that was conducted regarding the Gulo gene and endogenous synthesis of vitamin C, they took mice, and mice produced their own vitamin C, and these mice lived about 24 months on average. Now, the vitamin C gene, if you will, or the Gulo gene within these mice was nixed. So they were made to be in a state like humans, like us. They were no longer synthesizing or making their own vitamin C anymore. And they lived about 8 months. They lived about a third of their lifespan. Now, these mice were given supplemental vitamin C, ascorbic acid. We could buy it in the supermarket. The mice were given it to achieve the same blood levels that they would have had of vitamin C when they had their gene still intact. And they lived, on average, 23 months. They almost lived the same amount as when they were able to produce their own vitamin C. So we see that mammals, when given supplemental vitamin C, to achieve their same blood level that they would have produced if they had the gene, lived almost 3 times as long. Now, Bill Sardi, this is where he got his formula 216 from. If you extrapolate that, you live about 216 years. He formulated a supplement, which I am currently working on again to once again help the body make or produce its own vitamin C. Now, I believe, too, this could explain why the biblical patriarchs lived to the ages they lived to, because humans who do not produce their own vitamin C live on average 2 to 3.5 times past the age of physical maturation. Now, mammals that do produce their own vitamin C live about 8 to 12 times longer past the age of physical maturation. So if you extrapolate that to humans, we would easily surpass 200 years of age, which is probably one reason why the biblical patriarchs lived. I'm sure it was also due to the canopy theory. We also, higher oxygen levels, less soil mineral depletion, many reasons. But I think one big reason was we had a constant vitamin C production within our bodies pre-flood. And we go to the next slide. All right. We got that one. You can go to the next one. So now I would like to say some things that vitamin C is known to do very, very well, and where the profound benefits of vitamin C supplementation come from. And if God designed us to make vitamin C, it's very, very beneficial. We look at most mammals, they produce vitamin C. It's extraordinary for their bodies. About an average size adult goat will produce about 13,000 milligrams of vitamin C per day, and more under stress. Now, the RDA, the recommended daily allowance, or the daily value set forth for vitamin C intake, is about 90 milligrams. And they'll say the upper limit is about 2,000 milligrams per day. Now, a quick side note, these daily values, these recommended daily allowances set forth by the FDA, were originally designed to prevent deficiency diseases. They were never designed to supplement for optimum health ever. It was so we do not get scurvy. So vitamin C at 90 milligrams was set forth by the FDA, so we do not get scurvy. We have a very low vitamin D daily value set forth, so we don't get rickets. But none of these are for optimal health. We see 90 milligrams a day set forth, but yet these mammals within nature equivalently produce thousands and thousands of milligrams a day when you extrapolate that to how much a human would produce under the same ratios. So a goat produces 13,000 milligrams. We would probably have produced thousands and thousands of milligrams per day and more under stress. Now, here's what vitamin C essentially is. It's electron therapy, as Thomas Levy, a leading vitamin C researcher, describes. So all living cells, as we know, breathe oxygen. And this is called cellular respiration. Now, when cells breathe oxygen, cellular respiration takes place. A byproduct of oxygen is a tiny little molecule that's toxic. And it's called free radicals. They're oxygen-derived free radicals. And they're atoms, they're molecules. And these atoms that happen within our bodies from just regular breathing oxygen, from just cellular respiration, are missing an electron. We know how atoms have neutrons, electrons, protons. Well, they're missing an electron, and there's nothing they want more than to gain another electron to balance themselves. So they go about our bodies stealing electrons from our cells and from our tissues, and in doing so, destroys our cells and tissues. It just pelts us with something called oxidative stress. It's just stealing it from our cells, from our tissues, and scientists estimate that our bodies are hit from about 10,000 free radical bullets each day, constantly. Now, what does vitamin C do to help with this? Well, vitamin C is an antioxidant. So we have these oxidizers within our bodies, free radicals, and vitamin C, being an antioxidant, will donate one of its electrons to these free radicals and stopping their damaging process, halting their damaging process. So if you want to slow down literal oxidation within your body that's constantly destroying your cells, destroying your tissues, hitting your DNA, vitamin C it's the master electron donor. It will donate its own electrons to these oxygen-free radicals and slow down this oxidative process, which is a major driver in the aging process. It's not the biggest, but is a major driver for aging, and it's horrible for our bodies. It promotes disease, and with vitamin C supplementation, this will be lessened. Next slide.
Okay.
So, heart attack slash heart disease, or heart disease slash heart attacks. What does vitamin C do in this case? Well, there was a book by a man named Linus Pauling, another very, very big vitamin C researcher in the 70s. And he came out with a book entitled Vitamin C and the Common Cold. And it didn't have anything really to do with heart disease. It didn't really have anything to do with heart attacks. It had to do with vitamin C and the common cold. However, at the onset of this book coming out, heart disease rates plummeted. They fell dramatically. And no one told us. The medical establishment did not tell us. This wasn't broadcasted in the news. We didn't hear about it. But when this book came out, Vitamin C and the Common Cold, heart disease rates crashed. And the reason for this is, one, everyone became less scared of vitamin C pills. Everyone rushed to the stores, bought their vitamin C, started taking it, and they didn't really get heart attacks. They didn't really get as many heart disease cases. And the main reason for this, above all else, most likely, is vitamin C is a natural blood thinner. It thins your blood, and especially as you age, you do not want your blood thick. Your blood is more susceptible to clotting. It could clot in your arteries and your blood vessels. You do not want this to happen. You want your blood thinner. Now, vitamin C will do this. Vitamin C is a natural blood thinner, and it will mitigate the chances of a blood clot heart attack. Now, there is absolutely no risk of over thinning your blood with vitamin C. It's not a drug. Vitamin C is regulatory. Drugs could over thin your blood. Every time you take an aspirin tablet, you lose about a spoonful of blood. It over thins it way too much. It robs your body of vitamin C. I would not recommend aspirin tablets per se. I would recommend vitamin C. It thins your blood very, very well. It will mitigate the chances or lessen the chances. This isn't medical advice. I can't say prevent, treat, cure, or mitigate. Supplements cannot make that claim, even though they may do so. We can't make that claim. But it will lessen the chances of a blood clot heart attack, which is one of three main types of heart attacks. Now, another amazing phenomenon that vitamin C was found to do is not only strengthen blood vessels very well. They noticed that arteries and blood vessels will thicken a little bit on vitamin C supplementation. And at first this was a cause for concern, but they found out later that vitamin C actually ups collagen production. So if you want more youthful looking skin, if you want stronger blood vessels, take vitamin C. It ups collagen. Why does smoking destroy your skin? Well, the main reason is because smoking depletes your vitamin C. So the more you smoke, the less vitamin C you'll have, the less collagen you'll have, and your skin will wrinkle much, much faster. Now, another interesting fact is around 80% of all aneurysms that take place in people that are or were smokers. Well, this is because smoking depletes vitamin C. So vitamin C is depleted, you don't have the vitamin C to strengthen blood vessels, and you get an aneurysm, which is a bulging of a vein or a bulging of a blood vessel within your brain. Or it could be anywhere throughout your body too. This is what hemorrhoids are. Now, the very phenomenal thing that vitamin C does is it regulates something very interesting within our bodies called lipoprotein A. What is lipoprotein A? Lipoprotein A is a very, very sticky blood platelet, and it goes to, or blood protein, and it goes to spots in our arteries that take the most wear and tear to try to fix them or try to repair them. Now, where does our arteries take the most wear and tear? Well, that would be right where our blood is pumped, right? Right, the blood vessels here. So as them blood vessels get sustain a lot of wear and tear, lipoprotein A will go right to the site and it will try to repair it as fast as possible. Now the problem with that is as blood platelets pass by these lipoprotein A repairs, they start to stick to it, and more stick and more stick and more stick, and eventually you end up with a blood clot heart attack because too high of lipoprotein A levels. So it eventually will cause, most likely, or high chances of a heart attack if you don't supplement with vitamin C. So what vitamin C does is it not only is known to regulate lipoprotein A levels, so it will not go too high, but it also strengthens your blood vessels, so the need for lipoprotein A actually greatly goes down as well. So it takes the place of lipoprotein A. You won't need as much to begin with. You won't get a blood clot heart attack. It thins the blood throughout your body, so you have a lot more blood flow, and it's just amazing overall for your heart and brain to begin with. Next slide. So this was a very interesting study that was done, but it's called, or a slide entitled Vitamin C and Cancer. So vitamin C, as we know, is an antioxidant. It donates electrons to oxygen-derived free radicals and quells them. It is the known antioxidant. Now, what's not as commonly known is vitamin C is actually at one point a pro-oxidant. It oxidizes things. And it only does this in very, very, very high doses. There's places all over the world, actually, that treat cancer with intravenous or IV vitamin C in very high doses. I believe at this point in time, Japan has 200 vitamin C clinics to utilize intravenous or IV vitamin C. Now, how does one accomplish the possible cancer-killing effect with oral vitamin C? Well, under no circumstances will vitamin C ever harm healthy cells. People will say it could tax the liver. It does not tax the liver. Many mammals produce thousands and thousands of milligrams a day with no problems whatsoever. Some people will say it's hard on the kidneys, or it could cause kidney stones. That's also a complete myth. Vitamin C is actually a diuretic, which means it increases the production and flow of urine. And a fast-moving stream leaves little silt. So it actually prevents kidney stones, vitamin C. But anyway, vitamin C in no wise will ever harm your healthy cells. It will help kill unhealthy cells that have a lot of free iron in them, like cancer cells. And the way it does this is through a mechanism called Fenton reactions. When you take over 20,000 milligrams of vitamin C, Bill Sardi would suggest about 8,000 milligrams every 15 minutes. Either way, you keep going throughout the day until you reach loose stool. And what happens is Fenton reactions will take place, and these reactions by the cancer sites will result in the production inside your body of hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. And this hydrogen peroxide that's produced at the cancer site, something that is a similar mechanism, I would say, to what apricot seeds do that G. Edward Griffin deemed selective toxicity. It produces hydrogen peroxide at the cancer site, and this hydrogen peroxide is very, very easily handled by healthy cells within our bodies. And the reason for this is healthy cells have an enzyme in them called catalase. And this catalase just helps hydrogen peroxide break down into water and oxygen. Now, cancer cells do not have catalase. And when the hydrogen peroxide comes in contact with these cancer cells, there's nothing to handle it. And the cancer cells initiate apoptosis, or self-destruction, because they cannot handle the hydrogen peroxide, and it helps to kill the cancer cells. If you take 8,000 milligrams every 15 minutes, trying to get to at least 20,000 milligrams per day, if not more, you will do a phenomenal job, I believe. At least you'll do better trying to help with your cancer. And don't be afraid of this dosage whatsoever. Many people take tens of thousands of milligrams per day to help their illness. Not too long back, I had actually acute Lyme disease, and I've taken probably about 20,000 milligrams, if not more, per day. And my own Lyme disease ended up getting eradicated. I took no pharmaceutical drugs. I did not take their doxycycline. I just used natural supplementation, and I no longer have Lyme disease. And I didn't get hurt from this high dosage of vitamin C. Vitamin C is not toxic to the human body, and there's a very famous quote by Andrew Saul, a leading vitamin C researcher, which states, "Take enough C to be symptom-free, whatever that amount may be." So we need it for our bodies. It's used in our bodies. Now, following along on the slide here, there was a specific molecule. I speak about it a lot because Bill Sardi spoke about it a lot. He touted it very often, and it's called IP6, inositol hexaphosphate. It's made of one molecule of inositol and 6 molecules of phosphorus. And this extract, it's extracted from rice bran, it's totally natural, is the king of chelators. Chelating just means it binds to and takes out of the body. Now, IP6 chelates or binds to excess iron, copper, and calcium in the body. It will never take calcium from your bone. It will never take copper from connective tissue. It will never take iron from red blood cells, just where they're in excess, just where it's not needed. Well, if we remember up above, cancer has a lot of free iron in it. Actually, a major driving factor for cancer's growth is iron. You need cancer to live, sure, but you need iron to live. But the more iron we have, bacteria feed off iron, cancer feeds off iron, it leads to more oxidation and more rusting, and IP6 could help with that. IP6 will chelate or bind to all the excess iron in our bodies and take it out. Now, Bill Sardi reported that he remitted stage 4 cancers with IP6 and diet change alone. Now, take out the sugar, obviously, because cancer voraciously feeds off sugar. Supplement with the IP6, that will chelate to the free iron, which is also driving the growing process of cancer. Coupled with vitamin C, you have yourself a very, very good modality to help with cancer. I myself, most of the time, would not recommend orthodox or conventional treatments. I would recommend vitamin C supplementation and other nutraceuticals, natural supplements. Unfortunately, side note to the industry of cancer real quick, their statistics for their successes and their failures are quite skewed, unfortunately. The reality is, what a lot of people don't know is the medical establishment will not count you in their statistics of a success or of a failure unless you finish their cancer treatment. And that sounds, at the surface, good. That sounds great. Oh, you had to finish their treatment, of course. But the problem is if you die during their cancer treatment, they throw you out of the statistics. They don't treat you as a failure. They only treat you as if you finish their treatment. And if you pass away during treatment, you're not a failure. So unfortunately, the statistics regarding conventional orthodox cancer treatments, you have chemotherapeutic agents, you have cut, burn, and poison, chemotherapy, surgery, radiation. They're skewed, unfortunately. They are skewed. Now, do I recommend never do this? No, I don't. But for a lot of the cases, I would recommend personally the natural nutraceutical supplemental route and diet change before I would go as far as saying conventional treatments. Now, production of hydrogen peroxide, sugar avoidance, and IP6 is a cancer knockout modality, and it could help with that. And Bill Sardi touted these remedies for cancer as well. Next slide. So the vitamin C naysayers. As I was saying, it's often talked about how vitamin C may cause kidney stones. They say it could unfortunately cause the production of calcium oxalate stones in your body, which there's not really any research for that. I've been taking vitamin C in mass doses for a very long time. I've had absolutely no kidney stones whatsoever, no signs of kidney stones. I've known people that take vitamin C, no signs of kidney stones. And believe it or not, vitamin C is a good diuretic. And diuretics help you flush out your kidneys. They produce and excrete more urine when you have a diuretic. And a fast-moving stream leaves little silt. If anything, this vitamin C supplementation will mitigate or prevent your chances of a kidney stone. It's very good for that. Does vitamin C tax the liver? It does not tax the liver. They recommend 2,000 milligrams as the upper limit. They'll say don't exceed 2,000 milligrams. It's not good for your body. Well, mammals equivalently produce, if you extrapolate it to what humans would produce if at the same ratio as mammals produce vitamin C, we would be producing thousands and thousands and thousands of milligrams per day. You have a goat weighing about the same size as an adult human, 170 pounds, producing 13,000 milligrams per day and more under stress. So no, it does not tax the liver whatsoever. Now, Linus Pauling, a very prominent vitamin C researcher again, did an experiment with this to try to show that going over 2,000 milligrams a day does not just produce expensive urine. Or he was trying to see how much vitamin C actually the body utilized. And he was taking about 10,000 milligrams per day. Lynn's, the phone is dying here. Can I have the charger? So he would produce about 10,000 milligrams per day and more under stress. Hold on 1 second. I'm just going to get a charger real quick. The portable charger in my room. Now, Linus Pauling actually was able to find out that upon supplementation of 10,000 milligrams per day, he would secrete about 1,500 milligrams, and the 8,500 milligrams would end up being utilized. So he found out it was actually utilizing much more than the 2,000 milligrams originally thought of. Just going to put on my charger real quick here. Oh, I have to take this out then. Can you still hear me okay, brother?
Yeah, and Patrick, I would testify. I have taken 10,000 units and never had a problem.
Hey, amen. Amen. Yeah,
Better put your headphones on. We're getting a ring back. Where are your headphones? Okay.
Is it a bad echo still?
Only when I speak.
Okay, I'm gonna put my headphones in here. Let me know if it's an echo.
It was fine up until now. What else did you change?
I just started charging my phone here.
Oh, I shouldn't do it.
Okay, I'll just keep on going here. Let's see if it sprays up.
Okay.
So, yes, Linus Pauling found out that supplementation with over 2,000 milligrams, if he took 10,000 milligrams per day of vitamin C, and he found out that only around 1,500 milligrams was excreted. So the other 8,500 milligrams was perfectly utilized by the body. So no, there is really no upper limit. If your body needs it, it will use it. Now, what I found out actually is, and what other people have found out is, when you're under illness or you have an ailment you're being afflicted with, your body could up the utilization of vitamin C much, much more. If you take, say, 8,000 milligrams healthy, you might experience some loose stool. But if you have the flu, if you have a cold, if you have something even like pneumonia or mono, your utilization of vitamin C will skyrocket to where you could take tens of thousands of milligrams of vitamin C with no problems whatsoever. So a quick kind of allegory that I like, or a little story picture that Bill Sardi would paint to show what vitamin C really does, is this. So some people may knock vitamin C usage because symptoms may persist, or the duration of the illness may remain about the same during vitamin C supplementation. Now, however, vitamin C can be likened to if you were on a ship and someone fell overboard into the icy cold water. Now, you throw a life preserver in, help him up onto the boat, and check his vitals. After he falls into the freezing, frigid cold water, his blood pressure, heart rate, body temperature, level of inflammation, level of stress hormones will be totally abnormal. Now, is it safe to assume the life preserver did not work because his vitals are abnormal? No, it did work because it saved his life.
Right.
And the same could be said about vitamin C. Even though symptoms may still persist, even though the duration of your illness may remain the same, the mortality rates drop significantly when supplemental vitamin C is administered. So chances are you probably won't succumb to your illness when taking vitamin C. Even though you might still experience the symptomatology of your illness, your mortality will be spared. Next slide. So dosages of vitamin C, like I spoke about before, the RDA, the recommended daily allowance set forth by the FDA, is about 90 milligrams. And they'll say this is about how much humans need, which it's about how much humans need to not get a deficiency disease. It's about how much humans need to not get scurvy. Not enough for optimal health at all. Certain vitamins will prevent deficiency diseases at very low rates, or at very low dosages, excuse me. So vitamin B1 will, at very low amounts, prevent beriberi. Vitamin D at very low amounts will prevent rickets. That's good. Vitamin B3, also known as niacin or nicotinic acid, will prevent pellagra at very low amounts. However, these very low amounts to prevent these deficiency diseases is generally not enough for optimal health, and especially for vitamin C. While 90 milligrams may prevent scurvy, it's not enough to help with everything else vitamin C can help with. So the dietary intake for people living in America is about 110 milligrams. The alleged washout point is 200 milligrams. And the supposed upper limit is 2,000 milligrams. And they say you should not rise above 2,000 milligrams. I've taken above 2,000 milligrams, way above 2,000 milligrams for a very long time. Many leading vitamin C researchers have, and the equivalent to most mammals, if you want to extrapolate to humans, would be about 40 milligrams per kilogram, or 2.2 pounds of body weight. So everyone take your weight in the calculator, divide it by 2.2, and multiply that number by 40. That's about how many milligrams of vitamin C you should be taking per day for optimal health at least. So 140, 145 pound individual will be taking around 2,500 milligrams per day. So half a teaspoon in the morning, half a teaspoon at night, and that's good for optimal health. You know, you could buy it in bulk and powder. So there's no associated toxicity with vitamin C. Minimum vitamin C for optimal health, 40 milligrams per kilogram. It's based off of mammal production of vitamin C. Now, when you're ill, you could actually take a lot more vitamin C, like I said. If anyone succumbs to any illness, whether that's the flu, a cold, the virus we dealt with a couple of years back, monos, pneumonia, start taking vitamin C right away. And you could take 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C per year of age at the least when you're ill. So I'm 23 years of age. I could easily get down 23,000 milligrams per day of vitamin C if I am ill. I would obviously separate them dosages to 5,000 milligram dosages, but you can get done no problem. Now, if you're seriously ill and there's really nothing else you could turn to, it is known and also recommended that people take 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C per pound of body weight when seriously ill. It's remarkable. It's astronomical. However, just to give an example, there was a pretty famous doctor called Dr. Cathcart, and he was known to prescribe ascorbic acid, vitamin C, before he even knew what their illness was. He would instantly say, start taking vitamin C. And he was known for something of like mononucleosis, the kissing disease, to prescribe 200,000 milligrams per day to cure or to help with mononucleosis, the mono disease. So it's a crazy. Yes.
That's not to prevent the kissing. That's just to prevent the disease.
Not to prevent the kissing. Not to prevent the kissing. That's just to prevent the disease.
Okay.
So, like I said, the quote from Andrew Saul: "Take enough seed to be symptom-free, whatever that amount may be." So we don't have to worry about overdosing with vitamin C. The only thing I will say is if you do take vitamin C, the only thing I will say is if you do take too much vitamin C, your body will naturally regulate this through diarrhea. You'll just excrete the vitamin C. So if you do take too much and you do get diarrhea, the only thing I can say is just treat it as if you were losing water or losing electrolytes. Take a little, eat a banana, take maybe magnesium, drink some more water. You're 100% fine, but there is no toxicity with vitamin C supplementation. You do not have to worry about it, whether it's a 500 milligram pill, a 1,000 milligram pill, or just buy it in the bag. If anyone contacts me, I can give them a very good companies that sell vitamin C bulk in a bag. It'll work for your whole family for a very long time. Next slide. So this is something just kind of interesting if people are interested in doing a quote-unquote detox, or if they believe they have been feeling sluggish lately, fatigued lately, if they've been feeling just overall sick or drowsy. They could do something called a vitamin C flush, and it's very, very beneficial. I wouldn't really recommend it for kids as much, but it's very beneficial. And if anyone is familiar with what colonics are, this is known to be more beneficial for flushing out your system than colonics. So how would you go about doing something like vitamin C flush? Well, flushing is when sufficient vitamin C is consumed to cause quick, watery, or loose stool, not prolonged diarrhea. And obviously stay hydrated with some electrolytes, magnesium, potassium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, or you could just drink coconut water during this. Now, the benefits of doing this, and I'll explain how to do this. The benefits of this are healthier than colonics, gives the liver huge antioxidant support, like I talked about, to be able to handle toxic bacteria byproducts of your detox, mixes with toxins in the gut and neutralizes them. Vitamin C is actually known, side note, as a very, very powerful antitoxin. My recommendations, this is not medical advice. If you're having a histamine reaction, if you're having an allergic reaction, if you get bit by an insect, if it's serious, sure, you could take Benadryl, but most of the time, I would not recommend taking Benadryl. Right away, get your vitamin C bag. If you got bit by something, if you're having some allergic reaction, what I would usually recommend is put 2 teaspoons of vitamin C in water. Right away, 2 teaspoons. And vitamin C is a wonderful antihistamine. It will help with allergic reactions. It will help with allergies in general. If you get bit by something, it will help neutralize the toxin. It's phenomenal for doing this. It's one of nature's best antitoxins. It neutralizes it. And it also flushes bad bacteria out of the gut. So how do you do this vitamin C flush? You could do it yearly. You could do it twice a year. But first thing in the morning, if you buy a bag of vitamin C, ascorbic acid, plain ascorbic acid, buy a bag on an empty stomach, take 3,000 milligrams to 5,000, so about a teaspoon, every 15 minutes until loose stool. After loose stool, continue taking 1,000 milligrams per hour. And what that'll do is just flush out your system, detox your body, help neutralize toxins, and you'll feel a lot better afterwards. It's healthier than colonics. I would recommend doing that. You could do it at home, and you don't have to do it every day. You don't have to do it every month. Once a year, twice a year, it's phenomenal for you. Now, like I said, I wouldn't really recommend it for children as much, but if needs be, if you believe they ingested something harmful, if you believe they do have to get something out of their system, here's what you could do for children. 1 year plus, don't do it before 1 year. First thing in the morning on an empty stomach, 1,000 to 3,000 milligrams. So I would do maybe about a quarter teaspoon, maybe a little more than a quarter teaspoon to a full level teaspoon every 15 to 30 minutes. When they begin complaining of stomach upset, lower the dose to 1,000 milligrams every 50 minutes until loose stool occurs. This will help detox their bodies. This is a great antitoxin. It'll get bad bacteria out of their system. And if they're dealing with any hidden illness or undercover quote-unquote illness, it'll help with that too. It's very, very good for the body. Next slide. So this is something that's just recommended to if you're seriously ill. I would recommend still doing this before your antibiotics, before your prescription drugs. I would recommend going this route. There's something on the market called Liposomal Vitamin C. You could buy it on Amazon. You could buy it on eBay. You could buy it on iHerb.com. It's everywhere. You could buy it in your local grocery store usually. It's very, very common. It's called Liposomal Vitamin C. Now, liposomal vitamin C is vitamin C. It's ascorbic acid. There's nothing different about what it actually is. The only thing different about this is the delivery system of it. it has just a little tiny, you could think of it as a fat globule around the vitamin C pill. It's encapsulated in fat. And the only thing this does is bypasses the normal digestion system to up the absorption of vitamin C dramatically. People will sometimes say if you take a liposomal vitamin C, it's equivalent to if you got it injected into your body. That's how well it is absorbed when you take liposomal. So you can get it almost anywhere, pill version, liquid version. I prefer the liquid version. If you're seriously ill, this is when you're seriously sick, you could take 1 to 3 teaspoons per day for adults, 1 teaspoon per day when children are sick, 5 to 9 years of age, and children 6 months to 4 years, half teaspoon to 1 teaspoon per day. You could obviously do more when sick, but this is amazing for any illness. I've taken this personally, a lot of it, when I had acute Lyme disease, and I no longer have Lyme disease, and it helped, I believe, tremendously with it. I've never had to take an antibiotic. They say you pretty much need antibiotics. They say if you don't, it stays in your system forever. The Lyme spirochetes, well, I don't have Lyme disease. I have no symptoms of it, and I've taken a lot of liposomal vitamin C during that time period, and I believe it helped tremendously. Now, but liposomal is a little expensive. It's a little more expensive, which is kind of course, obvious. It's a different delivery system than just bulk ascorbic acid. So if anyone wants to make their own, they could easily actually do that. All you do is take about a tablespoon of your regular ascorbic acid, vitamin C powder, dissolve it in a little bit of water, warm water, about that much at the bottom of your glass, and then take about a spoonful of chia seeds, maybe 2 tablespoons full, and let that soak for about 30 minutes. And if anyone has ever did anything with chia seeds and water, they gel up quite quickly. They form a pretty big gel around them. And this will actually suck up the vitamin C and work sort of the same as liposomal vitamin C. Make that mixture, take about a spoonful. You could just swallow it with some water. Do that maybe every 30 minutes. Very, very similar to a liposomal vitamin C. It'll help increase the absorption, and it will help tremendously when you're sick. You don't need to rush for an antibiotic all the time. You don't need to rush for a medicine prescription all the time. You could do vitamin C. There's other modalities to take that will actually support your immune system while helping kill the infection rather than just pharmacological agents, pharmaceutical drugs. I will recommend avoiding liposomal C. Vitamin C during pregnancy is totally fine. I would recommend avoiding liposomal vitamin C when pregnant because this could actually induce an early labor, and liposomal is only recommended for children older than 6 months unless it's a serious illness. Next slide. So more on vitamin C. What else does it do it for you? Well, God originally intended it to be created within our bodies, I believe. So I believe it's tremendous for our bodies. So what are more things vitamin C could do? Well, it helps with infections. It helps tremendously with infections. It helps your immune system. It's great. It actually, with adequate vitamin C, a side note, I think I talk a little bit about this later, but we have in our bodies stem cells. And stem cells could take the place of other cells. They're kind of like a blank slate cell. Now, everyone right now, look where your Adam's apple is. Go a little lower, right under your breastbone, you have a gland, and that's called your thymus gland. Now, your thymus gland produces something called T cells. Now, these T cells that the thymus gland right here produces are your memory immunity. They remember specifically how to fight specific infections. Now, a little known fact is you need zinc for your thymus gland to make T cells. If you don't have adequate zinc as you age, your thymus gland will go to about the size of a walnut, shrink down to the size of a pea, and you can't make the T cells, and you're going to lose memory immunity on how to fight infections. There was a study done, an autopsy conducted on many individuals, and they found out people who lived over 100 years of age were always zinc sufficient, and people who did not live over 100 years of age were most of the time zinc deficient. Zinc is crucial for your memory immunity. Now, something else along the lines with T cells,
is going back to the stem cells. With adequate vitamin C in your body, your stem cells could mature to T cells. So in a way, it most likely bypasses that zinc need in your thymus gland, and most likely it relies on vitamin C. So your vitamin C will mature or help mature your blank slate cells into T cells and help improve your memory immunity. Your body will remember how to fight various infections so you could fight them better and quicker. Now, bleeding gums. If you suffer from bleeding gums when you're brushing your teeth, that's usually indicative of a vitamin C deficiency, because vitamin C helps your blood vessels. If you have easy bruising, if you have easy bleeding, that's usually a vitamin C deficiency. If you ever go to nursing homes, sometimes you'll see on the elderly's back of their hands bruising. That's usually a very overt sign of vitamin C deficiency, easy bruising. Now, keep going. Varicose veins or spider veins. That is very easily treatable with vitamin C. Varicose veins, they're like a bulgy, enlarged vein. It's usually not a problem. It just, it's not desirable. Now, if anyone has varicose veins, begin vitamin C supplementation, but also something that's not prescribed in the States, but something that's very touted in, say, Europe, is something called diosmin. That's Diosmin. Bill Sardi talked about it. It's a citrus extract. You can go on Amazon and buy diosmin. Take 500 milligrams twice a day with your vitamin C, and this will help your varicose veins. This will help strengthen your blood vessels. This will help hemorrhoids. It's amazing for your body. Aneurysms, like I said, smokers usually are the ones that have aneurysms because smoking depletes vitamin C. And what does vitamin C do? It strengthens your blood vessels very well. And if you're depleting your vitamin C with smoking, you're going to get weakening blood vessels, and they might end up bulging and they might end up hemorrhaging. So if you smoke, you need the vitamin C. Hemorrhoids, vitamin C is very good for them. With your diosmin, make sure you take diosmin. Gallstones, believe it or not, vitamin C could actually help help with, I can't use the word treat, but help with and help prevent gallstones. Very, very good for that. And easy bruising. Vitamin C strengthens blood vessels. You'll mitigate your bruising. You'll mitigate your bleeding. You'll lessen, I should say, the chances of internal bleeding. Vitamin C is very, very good for all of that. Next slide. All right. So for all of the women listening right now, a lot of women sometimes suffer with something called anemia, iron anemia to be specific. And this is just low iron levels within their body. They have a low ferritin count, which is the iron storage molecule. Now, a lot of times, believe it or not, this anemia that's plaguing some women could be very much helped with vitamin C supplementation. Now, vitamin C is not iron. It doesn't add iron to the body. However, something vitamin C does do is it greatly increases iron absorption. So say you eat 3 times a day, women out there, if you take about a half teaspoon of vitamin C with every meal and a glass of water, you will up your iron absorption from the iron from the food, and that a lot of times will help your anemia by itself. You don't need a lot of times excess red meat, or you don't need a lot of times iron supplementation. Now, there are some cases, absolutely, where you do need some more red meat, which contains highly absorbable iron. You might need some iron pills. But a lot of times, if you don't have severe anemia, vitamin C alone will help with your low iron you may have. Antitoxin, like I said before, it's great for bites. It's great for stings from any insects. It's a powerful antitoxin. If I ever got bit by a spider or mosquito or anything for that matter, immediately I would take 2 heaping teaspoons of vitamin C, about 10,000 milligrams, immediately, right away, in a glass of water. Take it right down. It will not hurt you at all. You don't have to worry about that. And about 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, I would do the same exact thing. And most of the time, that will help. Not too long ago, I got bit by something, a giant wasp-looking thing on my hand, and it got red almost immediately. I took about 2 teaspoons of vitamin C, and really nothing became of it. It was pretty much flush within 5 to 10 minutes, and it never raised back up pretty much. So it's an amazing antitoxin. I would keep it in your car with you. Keep a little mason jar with half vitamin C, and if you ever need it, you could take it. It's great for all sorts of bites. Antihistamine. Vitamin C, like I said, is amazing for any allergic reactions. Now, if you're seriously allergic to something, if you have a serious peanut allergy, you might need your EpiPen, you might need your Benadryl. But for the most part, if you're suffering from a histamine reaction or some allergy, take vitamin C. Take it 8 to 10,000 milligrams right away when you're having an allergic reaction. And a lot of times it will help. A lot of times it'll lower that histamine reaction that you're experiencing. And vitamin C, like I said, is needed to make collagen. People that supplement with vitamin C could have better, smoother skin because skin utilizes collagen, and vitamin C is needed to make collagen. Now, like I was saying too, T cells are produced from B cells. B cells are made in bone marrow and your thymus gland, responsible for your memory immunity. And stem cells, these blank cells, if you will, these cells that could help become any other cells, mature into T cells with the aid of vitamin C. Vitamin C prevents the death of your T cells. So if you want a better memory immunity, if you want your body to better remember how to fight these specific infections, take vitamin C. It's amazing for that. Now, vitamin C increases mental acuity. In a study conducted for every, it's going to get a little scientific, but in a study conducted for every 1 micromole increase in blood concentration of vitamin C, there was a 3% reduction in odds of mental impairment. More vitamin C, they had a higher IQ, mental acuity. Cognitive impairment in individuals may be greatly reduced with increasing blood levels of vitamin C. It helps with your IQ. Your brain sucks up vitamin C. When your levels of vitamin C drop throughout your body, your brain will actually try as hard as it can to maintain its levels of vitamin C. It helps reduce your cognitive impairment. And as Bill Sardi would say in his seminars, if you can't understand that, you probably need more vitamin C. Oh, I can't hear you there, brother.
You got it. Okay. Now you can hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. We're ringing back to the mic. Yeah. Thank you so much, brother. Vitamin C is critical. And God said, in the first chapter of the Bible, eat the fruit, vegetables, and seeds. And fruit is what contains all the vitamins.
Yes, sir.
This is supposed to be Kakudu plums, the highest concentration of vitamin C. I'd never heard of those till I researched it. Have you ever heard of those?
Could you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
I never heard of Kakudu plums. I've never heard of these things. I know guava, peppers, sauerkraut will contain very high amounts of vitamin C. Acerola cherries, tamu tamu all contain very high amounts of vitamin C. So you could get it from your diet a little bit. But the main thing I like to say is vitamin C, what we're trying to do by this high vitamin C supplementation isn't necessarily getting it, isn't necessarily saying you can't get it from your food sources. It's more so trying to replicate what we once did before Noah or, before the fall.
Well, people used to ask me, how much do I need? I said, well, how much gas does your car need? Well, it depends. You're driving real slow or you're drag racing. You're going to need a lot more if you're drag racing, okay? If you're on a busy life and you want a lot of energy, you may need a whole lot more vitamins. I can't tell you how much you need. Take a bunch. The worst I've ever had from taking too much, you get expensive pee. That's all you get.
It's true. You're not going to get bad reactions.
All right. Anything else, brother? If people want to get hold of you, there's your phone number and email. Get hold of Patrick and say, look, I got a health problem, and he'll be glad to try to talk you through it, give you some ideas and advice. We don't give medical. We're not trying to replace the doctors. We just want people to be healthy. All right.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hovind, Dr. Hovind. I appreciate it.
Sounds great. When you get done with your first 6-month honeymoon, come on down to Lenox, Alabama, and take your second 6 months down here. Thank you, brother.
Good. God bless.
All right. Bye-bye.